Greg Cosell, top of next hour. Joy joining me as always. It's Kyrie returned for the Nets. They lost to awful Cleveland, and he scored a bunch of points. It's funny because they were 4-0. The Nets had won 4 straight without Kyrie, and they were 2-0 with KD and Harden. And then he comes back against dreadful Cleveland, and they lost. And the guy he's guarding, Colin Sexton, scored 20 straight points in overtime. And by the way, James Harden, not only did they lose to Cleveland, and Colin Sexton, who's Kyrie's guy, score all the points in overtime for Cleveland, James Harden in 51 minutes had 14 shots, which here's the problem. And if you go look at the plus-minus numbers, KD and Harden on the floor were +6, but Harden and Kyrie were -3. KD and Kyrie were -7. So they were better when he was off the floor. This was the same thing with the Nets last year and Kyrie. It's very interesting. What I'm about to say, fans always get this. The media doesn't. Fans understand. For years and years, Joey Sindelar would win the golf long drive contest. He never won tournaments because he couldn't putt. Everybody knows that you can be a great talent. Fans always know this. OBJ is a great talent, but he's hurt a lot, and Baker Mayfield was better when he didn't play. Fans get that. Media struggles with it. The Nets will be worse with Kyrie Irving. He's the only NBA star I can think of in my adult life. Maybe there was another, I couldn't think of it, that I would be willing to trade for role players, and I think I would upgrade. Now, it never works that way. Like you're trading a great player. You know you're not going to get equal value. You're just getting draft picks. You're basically crossing your fingers. With Kyrie, I would trade for role players. And I think a lot of NBA is very unique. Ratings indicate we don't watch the NBA games. We watch the highlights. And Kyrie Irving is an Instagram basketball star. In 15-second clips, he's amazing. If you watch 47 minutes, not so much. He plays no defense. But NBA fans are younger than other sports. They play more video games and often fantasy than other sports. And so you need stars to win video games and fantasy. So in the NBA, it's the one sport where guys that aren't winning basketball players just get defended. Always, Westbrook still gets defended. It's like he's not a winning basketball player. He's just talented. In the NFL, we don't do that. In the NFL, if you don't help the cause to winning, fans are like, I'm out. I'm not. You ask most fans in Cleveland today, if you could trade OBJ this afternoon in Cleveland and get a really good safety, like get an equal player on defense that would shore up the back end of your defense, 75% of Cleveland fans would be like, absolutely, we want to beat the Chiefs. We got to beat Josh Allen. We got to beat Patrick Mahomes. But the NBA is different. We don't watch the games. We watch clips. And in the world of clips, Kyrie is amazing. I was just saying during the break, he's probably the best small finisher I've ever seen in my life. Left hand, right hand. Generally your great finishers are, Michael Jordan 6'6", and Kobe and Shaq and LeBron and Durant. And they're big, they're tall, they're long. Kyrie's like my height. He's 6'1.5", and he's unbelievable finisher. I've never seen a small player finish like him. And again, he's an Instagram basketball star. In clips, he's great. But if you watch over time, last night, Colin Sexton, good player, not great, scored 20 straight points for the Caps. So I think Brooklyn has a chance to be incredibly special with Harden, KD, and role players. I'm just not sure they can come to terms with giving up Kyrie for guys that don't need to score, that need to defend. Joy with the news.
No.
Turn on the news. This is the Herd Line News.
Yeah, I could have used a little defense last night.
Yeah, and Colin Sexton's a nice player, but can you imagine scoring? I don't think Colin Sexton ever scored 20 straight points at Alabama.
He was incredible last night.
Yeah, I mean, he was
just unconscious.
There's in the NBA, if you have a weakness on the floor defensively, you saw that last night, you just go at it every time down the floor.
If they don't make an adjustment, just keep doing it.
Just go at Kyrie. And that's the weakness. Go at Kyrie defensively.
So the Bucks are one game away from their first Super Bowl appearance in 18 years.
Wow.
They'd also be the first team to play that game in their home stadium. But Bruce Arians is not looking ahead to that possibility just yet.
Yeah, we don't play that game this week. That's the message to everybody. We play the Packers in the NFC Championship game. You start thinking about the Super Bowl, get your ass beat, and be packing your bags on Monday.
He's kind of a bottom line guy.
I mean, he's very, very right, though. And it's especially essential that the Bucks pay attention to that messaging because they would be playing it at home. And that's got to be in the back of your mind a little bit. So you just have to smush that out and focus on the Packers.
You know what's amazing about this game? And I think Green Bay is going to win comfortably. If Aaron Rodgers loses at Lambeau to Brady, I mean, our show Monday is Aaron's now one game over 500 in the playoffs with 3 losses at Lambeau as a favorite. And if Brady wins this and it's in Tampa, you think New England's insecure this morning? Can you imagine that? If Brady gets to the Super Bowl in Tampa against either really young Josh Allen, and they'll get overwhelmed by Kansas City, I would think.
Or the emerging new dynasty of the Kansas City Chiefs. It'll be something.
Oh, my.
I cannot wait for these weekends.
It's almost, you know what, Joy? My life, I think both of us, it's never been easy. Like, we've had to move around a lot. That would be too perfect for our lives. For Brady to win and get to a Super Bowl, it literally, I would come into the show 2 minutes before it starts and talk. I would do no prep.
No, you wouldn't. He preps a lot.
But I'm seriously, that would be too perfect for us.
I mean, it would be... the real big picture, though, is no matter what happens, we're not going to get a bad Super Bowl. Last year, we were a little nervous. The Titans might sneak in here and just ruin the week. No offense, Titans fans, but like no one outside of Tennessee was rooting for that.
By the way, for us, I'll just say this right now. I'm a Brady guy, but I think the best Super Bowl is Green Bay, Kansas City.
Yes.
I think that's the best game for the American fans.
Yes.
I think Brady may even get a higher rating against Mahomes. He's so iconic. But if you're asking me,
what's the best game? I
got to tell you something. That would be potentially an all-time great Super Bowl, a top fiver. The 2 best quarterbacks, and not just the 2 best quarterbacks because of their record, talent-wise. Oh, my Lord. But see, it's not going to happen because that would be too great for us.
It's a big soup weekend. So the Chiefs have some of the most impressive offensive weapons in the NFL, and the Bills' defense knows it's going to be a challenge to limit their success in the AFC title game on Sunday. Safety Jordan Poyer said, you look at trying to stop them, and it's kind of like, who are you going to stop? You look at how they're winning games, and they're making big plays. You've got to find a way to limit their explosive plays. They're in this spot for a reason.
That's right. You don't stop them, you limit them.
Yes. And now you can maybe try to take away one of their weapons, but the problem is they have so many that they're just going to keep going to whatever target is working that day. They're such a team that they don't really need to rely on one specific explosive target.
Well, it's like when you played the Dodgers this year. They were going to score on you. When you play the Dodgers, you try to avoid the big inning.
Yes.
If Cody Bellinger hits one 400 yards, just make sure nobody's on. Because the Dodgers, their batting order 1 through 8 was insane, historically insane. They were going to score on you. The key is don't give them 4-run innings. Well, too many people did, and they won the World Series. But there are offenses where just don't walk guys. You're going to lose some at bats.
Right, you're going to lose a little bit here and there. Just don't give up the big one.
Don't give up 4-run innings, and you have a chance to beat the Dodgers, and people couldn't.
Their defense, the Bills' defense, is 16th in points allowed per game, 14th in yards allowed per game, 15th in sacks, and they're tied for 3rd in turnovers.
It's
now,
really
the Chiefs are not a big turnover team, but they're kind of just like a middle-of-the-road defense, obviously good enough to get them here.
Yeah.
And, Phillip Rivers had 309 yards and 2 touchdowns, and they also rushed for 163 total yards. Jonathan Taylor had 78 yards and a touchdown. But obviously, the Buffalo game was completely different, and that's a really good offense, and particularly a rushing offense as well. So they can get it done if they need to, but I just think, to his point, just save one big explosive play, and you'll be able to be in it.
Yeah.
As Baker Mayfield enters the final year